All right, let's keep it moving now. We're going to go to the Big Ten, and it has been an interesting season there where Tom Izzo has got the number one seed on a 26-5 team, a team that really doesn't have a true star. Jace Richardson has emerged as the top NBA prospect of the bunch. He's getting a whole lot of buzz, but this is a team that is also doing it the old-fashioned way. They're doing it with balance. They're doing it with defense, and it has been really an impressive season for Tom Izzo. But Trotter, I'm going to go back to you. Your favorite team, assuming you're going to keep it interesting and not pick the Spartans, who do you like in the Big Ten?
I like what Maryland's doing a lot. I think there is a chance for them to have the highest potential in the Big Ten tournament and also in the NCAA tournament. You know, the Crab Five, we talk all about them, but like they don't have a lot of flaws in this starting five. Juju Reese is playing like an all Big Ten defensive team. It was a crime that he wasn't, an all defensive pick that came out. But Derek Queen, we've talked about it all year long. He's just been one of a dominant guard or dominant big man. It looks like an absolute pro. But I think the guards for Maryland are going to really have to carry them. You have to win multiple games in a row, and their first game could be against Illinois. That is not an easy game against an Illinois team that's starting to play a little bit better. But Jacoby Gillespie, Rodney Rice, and Selton Miguel have just been ballers this year. Gillespie out of Belmont, Rice out of Virginia Tech, Miguel out of South Florida. Like, what a terrific transfer portal evaluation by all three of those guys. They've come in and just been outstanding. So, yeah, maybe you look at Maryland and go, yeah, like, the lack of depth is a concern when you need to win games over and over again, but just the raw talent perspective and the mismatch hunting that they create and the guards that can make shots off the bounce and off the catch, like this is a tough cover and they're a good defense. Like this is a really, really dangerous team. I'm really bullish on Maryland making a really, really deep run. And I think it starts in Indianapolis.
So my only question about Maryland, and feel free to interject on this, but my question is the second unit, especially in a conference tournament type scenario where you play back-to-back games. When you look at their point differentiation, their point production, you've got 5 different players who are averaging 12 points or more. So that first 5 is incredibly hard to guard because they can beat you in so many different ways. After that, the next highest guy in the team averages just under 4 points per game. So who off the bench can give them a spark plug if you get a couple guys in foul trouble, if you get a rolled ankle, things that are going to happen when you have to play 3 or 4 games in a row. That is my only question about Maryland, but certainly it has been a dream season for Coach Willard. Derek Queen having a phenomenal season as well. Interestingly enough, now I want to ask you about a quote-unquote sleeper team, but I think you're going to pick a squad that was actually picked to win this league when we were talking in the preseason.
Yeah, it's weird calling Purdue a sleeper, but hey, they're outside the top 5. They somehow slipped to the 6 just because of how congested the top of this league was. But I love the draw for them. Purdue has a chance to potentially play a Michigan team in the quarterfinals that is just, they're just sinking fast. They really haven't played at a high level right now. And it's really fun to bet on a team as a sleeper that has the player of the year and a first team all Big Ten guy too, in Drake Kaufman-Renn and Braden Smith. And, I was trying to do the research on this, like the Braden Smith pick and roll. I need to find the exact points per possession on it against the various different coverages because it feels like he just cooks whatever you do. Like you want to play hard hedge, like he cooks it. You want to play deep drop, mid-range pull-up is there. Like you want to blitz him, he's going to find Trey Kaufman-Renn for a little like floater from 8 feet that's just automatic. Like Purdue is awesome in that two-man game between those two guys. And factoring in the draw, factoring in the talent that they have on this group, factoring in also this is a team that has championship aspirations and didn't get a piece of the title. I think they're going to head to Indianapolis extremely motivated, should have great crowds. I think Purdue can get it rolling a little bit. Like I would love if we're heading into that semifinals on Saturday, the Big Ten semifinals, and it's Purdue and Maryland to go to the Big Ten tournament championship game. That would be a big time game, and I'd be tuned in for sure.
I think you make an interesting point and an accurate point about the importance of the crowd in Indianapolis. Remember now, not speaking to you, but the viewers, Purdue has lost 5 out of 7. They were at the top of the standings before they lost 4 in a row. They rebounded with a couple of wins before dropping one at the very end. But still a top 10 overall offense in the country. So much of that comes down to Braden Smith. Defensively, they're 53rd. But they've really struggled to defend the paint, which is somewhat counterintuitive as they've transitioned to these bigger lineups. But nonetheless, they are certainly a team to watch. The player, or in this case, players that I'm interested in watching, well, we're going to have to turn on the TV tonight and hope they play again tomorrow because that is the freshman sensation, the freshman duo, I should say, of Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper. Listen, the season hasn't gone as people hoped for Rutgers. but it has not hurt the stock of these two individual prospects. Both are still in the top 3 on my NBA draft big board. I think that is pretty much the consensus, although there's still plenty of time for that to be worked out. It's two dynamic individual talents who could very possibly be ending their college career this week. We'll wait and see. Again, I think it's been a lot of fun to watch them play together, even though they haven't reached what I think many people hoped their ceiling would be together. But we're going to see what happens this week in Indianapolis and if they can get it going. Because I'll tell you what, if these two guys can get clicking, it would at least be some extra cinema here in the Big Ten tournament. All right, everybody.
My one thing, though.
Yeah. What do you got?
My one thing, though, is like if Rutgers has any hopes of trying to advance, can we play a lick of defense? Like they at some point, like they have to guard, and for a while, it feels like Rutgers' defense is just completely disintegrated. They have absolutely no chance of advancing, no matter if Harper and Bailey are brilliant. If they don't find a way to get some stops.
All right. Well, that game, the USC plays Rutgers Wednesday, 7:30. You can check that out for the latest college basketball news leading up to Selection Sunday in the NCAA tournament. You're going to want to visit 247sports.com. We always have you covered. Wall-to-wall team coverage, recruiting rankings, and guess what? The portal isn't open yet, but the transfer portal updates have already started, so you're going to want to check it all out there. 247sports.com as Travis Branham and the team are already hard at work covering that portal.